try and understand the relationship between the intensity and the span of concentration. I will talk about intensity in greater detail, but I would like to point out that very often people get confused between what truly is attention. Okay, so we think that if a kid sits still, okay, you sit and you don't move, that is concentration, which it is. Nothing wrong there. Of course it is. Without concentration, how can you sit still without moving? You're restless. A restless mind is not a concentrated mind. So there's nothing wrong in that assumption. However, it is incomplete. So what we need to understand is that concentration takes different forms, especially where children are concerned. It is not necessary that if a child is not sitting still, the child is not able to concentrate. Especially if you have young children below the age of 7. If you're asking them to sit still and concentrate, you're really doing a lot of injustice to the children. And it's not going to help much, especially if you find that your child can't concentrate. First, we must learn to help children to intensify their concentration and also increase the span of concentration in an activity. And these are the operative words, the action. So not the stillness, but the action. If you've noticed, the children are naturally intense. You know, what they do is that you see a child is absorbed in an activity and you try and pull a kid out. They don't want to let go. They're interested, they're absorbed. So why are they interested and absorbed? There is a degree of concentration here. Look at how concentrated children are when they're playing. I know lots of parents are going to complain. You know, she wants to play whole day long. If you leave them, they will play in the playground whole day long. And so what's wrong with that? And then you'll say that, okay, video games. What type of activity they can find that holds their attention is another subject. We'll talk about that in another moment. But let's try and understand the nature of concentration in children. Okay, so children firstly must be concentrated in something where there is movement and activity. So if you want a child to concentrate, especially a young child, the younger the child is, please do not ask them to sit still. Ask them instead to focus on any one activity. Now again, you will face a challenge because you will find that children will get distracted. They want to move here, they want to go over there. They want to leave their activity and do something else. Now that's where you can gently enforce some kind of discipline through regularity. So fix a time if you want to and ask a child to do some action which he or she is interested in. It could be Lego, it could be jigsaw, it could be clay, modeling, could be writing, drawing, painting, playing the same activity. Let's say even if it's basketball, so keep on moving the basketball at one point. Okay, so this is important because when a child can basically focus through action, only then the child's mind is ready to focus through stillness. That comes a little later. So as I said, action is natural for a child. Movement is natural for a child. So we bank on what is natural instead of trying to suppress that naturalness and trying to make the child do something which is not natural to the child. If you know, schools or education institutions don't take the nature of a child into account, there's going to be a constant struggle. It's not going to really help, and I don't think that it helps the child or the adults. So what should be done is to take into account the nature, the mind of the child. So allow them activity, but tell them to stick to one activity. And if you find that difficult, slowly increase the span. Begin by 30 seconds, then increase it to 45 seconds, and then ask the child, let's see how long you can do this activity. Of course, what kind of activity and how does that build concentration is another topic, and I will be talking about that in a bit. But as of now, let us live with a very simple understanding that we will ask a child to concentrate through an activity where there is some degree of action.